Good morning, everyone. This is Sachin Fiske from Electrical Engineering Department, SND College of Engineering and Research Center. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the overall PLC system. Now, in that system, basically, which are the different parts or the modules generally used with PLC, we discussed today. So major part of that PLC system is I/O modules. Let us see one by one what is I modules and what is O modules. So I means input module and O means output module. See one by one. Now this I/O module means the digital or desirable I/O modules perform four tasks electronically. First, it senses the presence or absence of an input signal at each of its input terminal. Second, it converts the input signal or high or on to a DC level and for a low or off, that is input signal. So no signal is converted indicating off. It means that the high signal indicates the on and for low signal it indicates the off portion. Then thirdly, the input modules carry the out electronic isolation. It is electronic isolation, not electrical isolation. By electronically isolating the input module, output modules from its input. And finally, its electronic circuit must produce an output logic to be sensed by the PLC CPU. Now, we are going to discuss with an input module. The first block receives the input signal for which the sensor or etc. the devices which are to be connected, and for AC input the direct current converter consists of a rectifier and means to step the voltage down to the unstable level usually with a particular Zener diode. See here, this block diagram or this picture indicates complete PLC system. This is the background of the PLC system. In that, various connection modules are given. So the indication for blue and yellow line indicates some input modules. Means basically the data which are to be provided for the PLC connection. Or let us consider one example, that is fan. To control this fan, some auxiliaries we are required, and that auxiliary is connected through this internal communication or the supply system which is given to this PLC, and hence this internal connection or input given to this PLC connection through a particular wire is known as input modules. Now, by using the programming languages or whatever the execution of the program done inside the PLC system can be executed through a CPU, and the data or the advices which are given by the PLC system to the auxiliary. Auxiliary means what? Auxiliary is nothing but fan, electric motor, then tube light or any electrical appliances which are connected after the PLC system, and it is known as the output module. That means the devices which are to be controlled are considered as the output modules, and hence it is connected on the right side of the PLC or after the PLC, and the devices to be controlled by using the internal facilities given by a particular logic diagram or wiring diagram is known as internal module. Hence, this input and output devices are often connected in what is known as a syncing or sourcing of this circuit. And if a solid state device controls the circuit from the load, then it is known as syncing of the devices. On the other hand, if a solid state device controls the current on the load, it is known as sourcing of the devices. Now, there are so many different types of I/O modules available, but in case of this PLC system, only two I/O modules perform. One is discrete or digital input modules, And second one is analog modules, means analog and digital IO modules are basically performed or used in case of the PLC system. See here, in a former case, the load is connected to the negative side of the power supply. So what is the negative side of the power supply? Basically, negative side of the power supply means the devices or the devices which are to be controlled on behalf of, yes, auxiliary. Auxiliary means here not electrical auxiliary, but the electrical controlling machineries, just like a push buttons or relay or contactor. So these are connected on the negative side, and in latter case, the load is connected to the positive side, means the devices to be controlled on right side of the power supply. So a current source output will use a PNP transistor, as earlier we discussed about this, and this PNP transistor means a xenon diode can basically used, and one requiring a negative voltage to turn it on. A current sinks output will employ an NPN transistor, and one requires a positive voltage to turn it on. This is the basic overview of IO modules, and these IO modules can perform a major role in this system. So we need to study details of types of IO modules to perform various activities, which is we are going to discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.